So first of all, I feel like someone is coming to you and they're like, do this, do that. Can I have this? Can I have that? And you're just thinking to yourself, I'm not in a position to give you that, or I'm not able to do that for you. And I feel like for whatever reason, you're not telling them why. You're not, verbally expressing yourself in a way that will allow them to understand it's not okay for them to ask you, or you're not explaining your circumstances so that they understand it's not appropriate to ask you at this point in time. So whatever that situation revolves around, I feel like you need to really, stand up and express yourself, okay? And talk about why that's not possible or why it's not appropriate for them to do that to you. First of all, I feel like for some of you, this might be like a friend of yours, and they're overextending, like they're wearing out their welcome, or they're overextending, and they're just kind of like, whatever is yours is mine. So they're taking advantage of the situation. And I feel for some of you, this might be like a family member, and you've never set boundaries and limitations with them in the past, so they're kind of just relying on you to do things for them. I feel for some of you, it's like borrowing your car. For others, it's like telling you repeatedly to take care of their pets. And then others, you might share space with this person, and they have boundary issues, okay? Like you might live with them, share space with them, whatever the situation might be. So just speak up for yourself, stand up to this person. It's not fair for you. The second message I have here is I'm seeing some legal issues. It doesn't have to be an issue, but I do feel some finances coming through or going out from your end to legal channels, okay? So I feel like for some of you, it might be car related, where you're getting a settlement, you're getting a payout, but it's less than the amount that you're hoping for. Because let's just say, for God forbid, for some reason your car is total, and the value of your car is a lot higher last time you checked. And so the compensation they're giving you, I feel like it's inconveniencing you, because now you have to get another car, but the settlement amount might not be enough for you to get a brand new car. So I feel like some issues there regarding legal paperwork. And then for others of you, it's financial institutions digging into your earnings, seeing how much you're making, seeing how much money is coming through for you, checking to see if you are making the amount that you claim. So it could be, tax auditors. It could also relate to if you're trying to take out a loan and they're trying to check your income, they're trying to check your employment, they're verifying something to make sure that all the information lines up. So somebody's digging into your situations, your circumstance, to make sure that everything is lined up, everything is, truthfully, all the information is truthfully divulged from your end. So I do see that coming through. The last thing that's related to the legal issue here is I see car, I see business, like assets, revenue, to make sure that you're getting paid. And then I'm sensing for others of you, it's almost like getting a business license, getting something, signed so that you can conduct business. So I feel like for some of you, you might be taking an examination, like accounting examination, getting certified, passing the bar exam for some of you. So I feel that coming through, and I feel like, your results will be very, very good if it's an examination, okay, rather than dealing with some type of legal official or legal channel. Be very, very careful about speeding, about, and I believe I mentioned this for one of the signs as well. One other signs, it might be Aries. It might be Aries, I'm not sure. So be careful, with driving, with vehicle issues. If you're selling your vehicle or relinquishing your vehicle, make sure that you transfer paperwork so that it's under, the new owner's name. Make sure if they tell you, oh, I'll go to, the DMV and do that. I would, if I were you, I would just do it try to do it yourself, just to make sure things are squared away, that your name is no longer on it, because I feel like the other person might, speed, or might drive your car and not pay like a toll, for example, for a bridge, and then the letters come back to your house. So just be careful about that, okay? Third message that I have here is pertaining to your situation. Financially, I feel like you're in a good space right now, and you need to save money nonetheless. But I feel that financially, you have everything that you need, and whatever you need to take care of, don't like don't procrastinate on it. Okay, you're not a big procrastinator, but you do have a self-indulgent type of a streak about you. And so I feel like there is a payment that needs to go from your end to somebody else, or to, an organization or somewhere. It needs to be paid. And I feel like you're dragging your feet because you're just like, no, I don't want to be dealing with this loss. I worked so hard to accumulate this much money. And I feel like you're dragging your feet. And I'm seeing like interest rates, like things accumulate in interest. So the longer you wait, the worse it's going to be for you. It's just don't drag your feet on this, okay? Money is just a number, and I feel like you have enough. So it's important for you to just pay whatever that you owe, and then over time you can build it back up again, okay? And I know that, if you're stuck in a financial like dire straits financially, you're going to resent the message, but I feel that yes, you're really capable. You can recoup the money. You can build up your wealth and your resources all over again. And so don't drag your feet. I'm seeing that, going back to the first message, people that might be coming in demanding more money from you too, creditors even, or even exes, especially if you have like children together, if you have like, child custody, they might change the terms, or they might tell you like, okay, we have this house and I need you to pay me back for the house. So I do see that coming in. I see a lot of real estate issues with you guys within the past few months, okay? So this is coming back up again. So I'm not going to dwell too much on it. Last message that I have here is it feels to me as if some relationships are falling away. And I'm sensing that, for example, in a work environment, for example, you have people that you get along with really well, right? And they're moving on to bigger, better things. And on the one hand, it's like a bittersweet kind of a separation. On the one hand, you're happy for them that they're moving on, but then you're kind of like sitting here thinking like, am I happy here? Am I content here? Should I stay here? So I feel like you're grappling with that. And actually, there's something else that just came out. I'm feeling like a lot of you are in a position where you're doing a lot of dating, and you're not at a point where you want to commit exclusively solely to one person. And I feel that somebody is kind of like thinking that you're seeing them exclusively, and they're making demands on you. They're imposing themselves upon you as if you both were in a committed relationship. And I feel like it kind of throws a wrench in the works when it comes to your dating plans with other people. But I don't see you telling them. So I feel like it's really, really important to, narrow down your options. If you're not feeling somebody, if they're making impossible demands on you, or if the requests are not appropriate, you need to put them in their place, okay? It's going to save a lot of pain and heartache and embarrassment later on for that other person, for you. And it's just going to the situation will begin to sort itself out if you're very honest and very like, clear about what you're expecting from the other person. So being very clear about motives, being very, very clear about what you want, what you expect, what's appropriate. That's going to be the major theme for this month, okay? And that's going to extend across, relationships, but also in your work environment too. So let me just go into this reading here. First of all, let me talk about this because this echoes one of the energies that I picked up earlier. So we have some legal issues that needs to be sorted out, and the legal issues pertains to finances, okay? Money that's coming in for you, as well as money that is coming out as it is mandated by the court. So usually I look at this and I think about, child custody, alimony, some type of a separation between two people, and it requires some financial exchange, financial arrangement. It's not very clean cut. And I do sense a lot of you are not like entirely happy that this money is coming out. And I do feel for a lot of you, this might be alimony, this might be child support as it relates to a person that you share children with, because we have the cards regarding children, regarding, past relationships, and especially a very karmic relationships where you might have been married, or you might have assets together, or you might even it's like I think of karmic relationships as, the kinds that allow you to conceive, allow you to have children. And I know that that's not going to apply with same-sex relationships, but I do feel there is a significant amount of karma here. And I feel like you have a lot of responsibilities with that person. It shows up in the reverse position, so I feel like the relationship might have ended for quite some time, but you are not able to cleanly extract yourself from it. You're still stuck financially, or even like, there are still some blockages and some barriers preventing you completely from moving away from that person. And I'm also feeling here that this is the month in which, you get to hash it out. You get to have legal representation to help you navigate the nuances with this energy, where you're going to need to, clearly decide or get help deciding, okay, how much money do I need to give out? What do I owe the other person? How can we dissolve that contract between the two of us? And for some of you, I'm feeling it could also be a business partnership where revenues has stalled. Okay, so things have stalled, and you're just like, no, I want to retrieve all my assets. I want to get my investment back. So I feel like some things breaking down, like a business relationship too, and you're trying to figure out how to move forward. Okay. I'm sensing for some of you as well, you're trying to buy property, and you and another person are linked up together trying to get a loan, like getting a loan to buy a house, getting a loan to start a business, and getting a loan from a financial institution for some new thing. It could even be remodeling a house. And either way, this is basically indicative of money coming through like some financial institution. It's in the reverse position. And so I feel like there might be some challenges regarding, are both people, like, are their incomes enough to be collateral, or is there like collateral for this loan? Do you both have, like, good enough credit to be able to get this loan, or are you like at high risk, where you're considered high risk, so they won't allow you to have the loan? And then I feel like you might have to go through, family channels. Okay, so this is a group of a card about, people that, family celebrations as well. But when it shows up in the reverse, it's kind of like looking at non-traditional channels, people that, people within your family unit, people around you in your group associations, who might be able to offer you investment opportunities, or they might be financiers or investors, and you're coming to them for some type of a loan. Okay, you're coming to them for funding, you're coming to them to extract something from them. Okay, and they're going to shoot a lot of questions your way, and I do feel that you're going to need to be able to defend yourself, and you're going to need to be able to tell them exactly why you deserve this, and tell them exactly why they should invest in you. So I feel a lot of you are going to need to brush up on your abilities to convince people, your abilities to, anticipate all kinds of questions that are coming your way, and to anticipate how to maneuver around these questions, especially if it's legal counsel, people who are very good at interrogation, people who are really good at assessing, all the important pieces of information that they need to know, so that they can either vouch for you, or they can, accept your offer, or they cannot accept your offer. So I feel like you're going to have to anticipate a lot here. Okay. I am seeing a big vibe of investigation. Okay, so I have here the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords is kind of like you don't really know which way things are going to go. So I feel like you do come into this month with uncertainty. If somebody is asking you a lot of questions, you're not able to gauge or anticipate their next question. So I feel like it's really hard for you to plan things when you're communicating for this month. And so the smart thing to do is, be as honest as possible and answer in, short enough answers so that when you backtrack, you can still save yourself. But at the same time, truthful, being very, very honest, um, being very clear about what you're communicating, I feel like that's going to be really important for you, okay? The Two of Swords is a situation too where something is drawn out. It's a stalemate. And I feel like for some of you, this is kind of like legal issues once again, dragging on with another person. You just want it to be over and done with. But at the same time, I feel like you can exact a lot of change in this situation. The cards are indicating to me, though, that you're not really making the move. You're not, being proactive about allowing, I guess, things from your end or doing things from your end to move things along, okay? So I feel like there's something weighing heavily on your mind. I feel like for many of you, something weighing heavily on your mind, but you're not doing anything and moving things along. If we are proactive about things, we're kind of like on the forefront of that energy rather than being reactive where you're behind the energy and you're just reacting to situations left and right as they come. It's best to be on the proactive end and just, I guess, like, stay abreast and also be ahead of that energy. That means moving things along so that you have the upper hand, okay? I feel like that's really important for this month. I do see a lot of relationships that are ending, okay? So rose-colored glasses are coming off. If you've been just mindlessly helping, chipping in, working towards goals with another person, and you find them kind of like, they're very scattered. They have a million things going on in their head. They don't know how to take care of practical responsibilities because, their mind is wired differently, right? Or for whatever reason, they have this grandiose sense of self where they feel like I'm entitled to this, I'm entitled to this, and they feel like life is there for the picking. And I feel like your eyes are going to be open to this energy where you start to see the other person as somebody who is not reliable, somebody who might be a little bit careless, and somebody who is just like they don't really plan, and then you end up having to come in and clean up the mess for them. I feel like your eyes are going to be open to this type of energy, and you're not going to be in the position to let them take advantage of you anymore. So Taurus, really, really speak up for yourself, okay? This is the month where things are not going to be the same. I do see a lot of shifts of energy, but I feel like you're kind of behind it and you're reacting based on what's coming in rather than acting to get yourself ahead of it so that you're not, dragged behind by it. I hope that makes sense. And I do sense overall that, reacting to this, it's like one thing after another. Okay, one thing after another. I do see financial fluctuations for you guys too, so be very careful about that. I'm sensing that you have more than enough at your disposal to take care of your everyday, daily needs, your all the necessary things. But I'm also feeling as well that it might be good for you to start planning long term, to start saving up, and especially don't spend lavishly, okay? In your career, overall in your career, I feel that a lot of you are exactly where you need to be. And so that basically means that you're in a job that pays really well, but there's also a lot of responsibilities associated with it. So you might be working very long hours. I'm seeing a lot of people staying up really late at night reviewing contracts, grading papers. For some of you who are teachers, professors, or you're leading some type of training group, I'm sensing that it's basically saying, whatever the amount that you're making, if you start to itemize, if you start to really divide up, for example, all the hours that you spend working on things outside of work, are you really getting paid, the amount that you're worth and the amount that you deserve? So I feel like some re-examining of your work situation, especially that career. Some of you are at that place that you want to be. Just, divide up the time that you're actually spending at work and outside of work to maintain everything. Is it still worth it? Are you, getting enough that you believe, like, are you getting what you feel you put in, okay? Because I feel like there's a lot of time, a lot of responsibilities on your plate. And maybe asking for a pay increase might be in order. If you are thinking about that, I feel like it might go in your favor, okay? The last message I have here is that I feel a lot of you are at this point in your life where you are very, very cautious about relationships. And the reason I say that is because this first card came out. This is kind of like some bad relationship in the past that at the end of it, you never question, is the other person coming back? Should I contact the other person? That was never up for questioning because you knew it was bad and you knew it's done and over with and that you can't really go back to it. And I feel like this person really, really did a number on you and they drained you financially. There might have been some theft as it relates to money or some extravagant spending. Somebody like, possibly taking advantage of your financial situation and milking it for what it's worth. And I'm sensing a lot of you are at this stage in your life where you're just like, never again. I'm not going to let that happen to me again. I'm not going to play that fool. And so the energy you're bringing to the table when it comes to love and dating here is skepticism, having your guard up and seeing through other people through a little bit more of a suspicious lens. It's not bad or good. I just feel like, you need to just be able to discern good and bad people and to surround yourself with good people and not put yourself back in that situation, okay? I'm going to go into your love reading. I hope this helps. And I feel like, of course, it's not going to apply to all of you, but for those of you dealing with this, I feel like those are the messages you might need to hear. And then for others of you, I feel like things are going swimmingly well, but I feel that you're going to be really, really busy this month, okay? It feels like there's a lot of like behind the scenes stuff that you have to take care of. Grading, reviewing contracts, doing additional research work outside of work. And it almost feels to me like you're doing a lot and you're working a lot and a lot of overtime as well. Okay? Take care of your health, okay, Taurus? Getting enough physical exercise for you guys is going to be very pertinent for this month, okay? So let me see. Let me see what's in store for you for love, relationships, and romance. Oops. I see people who are coupled up with another person. You're butting heads. You're butting heads. So like people married and people who are in a stable relationship. It's like, where do we go? How can we make this work if we don't agree on simple everyday things? And I feel like things are starting to get a little bit claustrophobic. I'm going to pull out one more card. Okay. So Taurus, this is not, I feel like there are going to be a lot of people going through major relationship changes, okay? If there are issues about things that needs to be hashed out in your current relationship, don't keep quiet any longer, okay? State your case and give examples. Start collecting examples, because I feel like you're going to encounter somebody, especially a relationship partner, who's like, what do you mean? And then you can, state, I don't like it when you do this because, and then give them a specific example, and then, summarize it by saying, so that's why I don't want you to do it, because of that previous incident. It makes me feel this way, this specific way. So state your case, okay? You really need to be, I guess, like, it's not about being conflictual, but it's like, don't be conflict avoidant, hoping that things will clear themselves up, because I feel like you're dealing with somebody who is pushing boundaries a little bit, and you need to state your case in order to resolve issues as they come up, nip things in the bud, so that they don't snowball out of control gradually, okay? So let me talk about this first. Actually, let me talk about the past first, and then if the rest of this applies to you, then, we'll go from there. First of all, we have here the Hangman. And the Hangman is a state of limbo. This is kind of like being stuck, feeling tied up, feeling almost as if things are not progressing and moving in the manner that you're hoping. And I'm also sensing for some of you, I feel like some of you are looking for the one. The Ace of Pentacles here. You want a relationship partner that is reliable. You want a relationship partner that will really, add value to your life. You want someone who is consistent and stable and is able to weather the rough times with you. You don't want to be alone in this struggle, managing your financial situation, dealing with a bad relationship partner who's not, taking care of you the way that you're taking care of them. You don't want to be alone in your struggles. You want somebody that will kind of like be there with you through thick and thin. And so I'm sensing a lot of you are at a point where in the past you have started dating. You have learned a lot from your previous relationships. You're trying to find new people, and you are kind of like holding out for the right person. So that means you don't get intimate with them. You really hold yourself back until the right person comes along. And I feel like it was a long period of waiting. I would say, probably over a year, over 2 years, depending on your time frame. But I feel like for Taurian people, it's more than a year. You've been waiting for quite some time. And this gem of a person came into the picture, okay? So you have here the Ace of Pentacles, which is a gift from the universe, a gift of stability, a gift of somebody who is ready to rough things up, like out with you. They don't leave when the going gets rough. They stick around and they try to resolve issues, and they try really hard to work at the partnership. So I feel like some of you have recently met somebody, and I feel that right now so that's for those of you who have recently, met somebody, which brings us to the present situation. We have here the King of Cups. For some of you, this might be a water sign, a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. Or this can be the energy that the person embodies, where they are very loving, very caring. They like to take care of you, like I'm in a very sensual way. So I'm seeing a lot of massages. I'm seeing a lot of head rubs. I'm seeing people that are willing to, really cook for you. They serve you food. They bring it right to your placemat, like right to the table. You don't need to lift a finger. So I feel like you're with somebody that is really, really good for you. And others, you're dating or you're seeing another person here. This is an earth sign, another Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. And this person is kind of like, there's a sense of entitlement here. They don't really move, okay? This is like the slowest moving person in the deck. They expect you to do things. They expect you to come up with ideas. They expect you to do a lot of the work to maintain the relationship. So I feel like You've met somebody great, but there are a few things about them that you might not like, especially if you're dating another earth sign, okay? Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, I feel like they're expecting too much from you, and they're telling you, like, can you buy me this? Can you buy me that? And I feel like that might be the person where you're just like, I'm not in a position to do that. Or you shouldn't ask somebody that. So it feels like that to me. So crowning this reading, if you're dating a water sign, I feel like things are going well. Things are good because the person is very emotionally mature. Because this is showing up here as a very, very emotionally stable, emotionally mature, loving, giving, type of a person. Whereas this one is a knight, and this person takes forever to make a decision. So they like to have things laid out for them. They like to have everything kind of like, spread out on the table. They don't have to travel too far because they're not going to be moving and budging, right? So that's two ways that this can go. Crowning this reading is something that you are thinking about. We have here the Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Swords is basically indicative of, a situation where you're just like, do I continue this? Do I go on? Mainly because there has been some doubts, some type of like new information being communicated. We have here the moon, which indicates like hidden things, okay? Things that your intuition is kind of like screaming out, telling you to be careful, telling you to look further into this situation, telling you as well that there's more to the story. And we also have here the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords basically is truth information being revealed, or communication that where things kind of slip out like against the other person's wishes. So I feel like there might have been some recent arguments in your relationships, and you're just like, wait a minute, I didn't get all the details. I didn't get, the whole story. I didn't get the chronological order of your narrative. And I feel that, once again, do not be conflict avoidant. Whatever you need to know, whatever you feel like if you're entitled to the truth, that's fine. You deserve the truth. And so dig a little bit deeper in this situation, okay? I'm sensing for some of you, you might be in a situation where somebody is coming at you really fast, and you're not really sure what to do, and you might, tell them like tell them something that is not accurate just to clear the situation. So for example, if you're still, I'm sensing like, if you're dating other people and they really like you and they're just like, are we dating each other just exclusively? And you're just like, well, I'm not dating anybody else, even though that's not the truth. I feel like you did that to appease the other person or to lighten the impact of the situation, okay? So there's some deception going on. There's some deception. There's some trust issues kind of like rearing its head in your relationships. The foundation here is something that you are thinking about. We have here the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords is just kind of like, how do I get myself out of this situation? How do I entangle myself? How do I leave this person behind? What do I do? So feeling very stuck, feeling very uncertain about how to move forward, and feeling as if you're in a relationship with somebody, you might not really like them anymore or that much as a person, and not finding a way out, because the way out brings about the Tower, which is, it's like a shakeup of everything you've ever known. And so if you are especially really linked up with this person financially, it's going to create a lot of calamity for you and for that other person. For that other person, especially if their reputation, their work, their finances are linked up with yours. So I feel like you're staying in a situation, not really budging, not making a move, and not really sure how to move forward. I have here the Page of Wands, and I feel like I pulled out the Tower, and I wanted to clarify. So I pulled out the Page of Wands, and the Page of Wands usually indicates to me some type of news, communication coming through that might be inflammatory, okay? So whereas before you were thinking, oh, there's more to the story, I don't know all the details. This is the month in which, of communication regarding your relationship partner, you might find out some things about them that you're not jiving well with. You might, you might have started dating somebody and you're finding out little flaws here and there about them that you're not really jiving with. And I feel for some of you, they're pushing you. They're kind of like putting all their eggs on the table. Okay. I don't think that's the right expression, but it's kind of like putting everything on the table, all their cards on the table. So I said eggs. So maybe somebody is just like, I want to get pregnant. Like, I want to get pregnant. I want to have children. I want to start a family. I want to get things lined up. Are you going to marry me or are you not? And you're dragging your feet because you're not sure if this is the right person. And you're also dragging your feet because you're thinking financially, am I in the right place to be able to do that? So I feel like you're dealing with somebody pushing you. Somebody who's dealing with their own time crunch is making demands on you on the romantic front, and you're not ready for it. So I feel like you're trying to find a way out. You're looking for ideas. You're looking at other people, scoping out new territories, scoping out new people, and trying to find a way out. Okay, so I do sense that. Coming through in the outcome position here, we have here the Seven of Coins. And the Seven of Coins, usually it's kind of like consensus, seeing eye to eye with another person, agree, like having a sit down conversation to really work at things. And especially it's a situation that you've invested a lot of time in and you're waiting for the harvest. And I do feel for some of you, there's going to be balance and harmony, first of all, back in your relationship if you've gone through a rough patch. Or some of you, you're contemplating, how do I get out of this situation? And you're worried about the other person and their financial situation and their circumstances. You don't want to cause them disruption. I'm honestly feeling like some of you want to break up with the other person and their birthday is coming up. Okay? And you're just like, no, I don't want to break up with them on their birthday. Or they have a big exam coming up and you're just like, no, I don't want to do that to them. What if they fail the exam because they're so distraught after the breakup? Or it's like some major event coming up in their lives and you're just like, okay, I'm going to have to wait and break up with them afterwards. So I feel there's that element here about time crunch, not feeling invested in a situation anymore, but waiting for the right opportunity for you to get away. And so there is going to be, I feel like from now until and then for other people dealing with a water sign, I feel like this person wants a lot more from you emotionally. They want a big investment. They want you to emotionally invest in them exclusively. And I also feel like some of you are scoping new other people to date, so you're not seeing them exclusively, but I do feel they want more from you. Okay. Singles. I overall feel like this is a month in which there are a lot of news coming through from other people. And I feel like towards the end of the month, if you are actively dating, I do sense that there might be new people on the horizon for you. People that will reciprocate your feelings. This is a card about two people working together to build up something. And I also feel like feelings are being mutually like reciprocated. Okay, like there's that balancing act where you're meeting somebody and the relationship is not conflictual. They're not pushing you, you're not pushing them. It's just you both exist in harmony with one another. So I feel like for singles, if you are dating and you're just like, do I want to settle with this person? They really like me. I do sense that you might be better off just, continue to date, because once you land that person that really takes your breath away, it's going to feel very different from just, settling for somebody because they really, really like you. So don't settle again for this month, okay? Especially in your relationship, because I feel like you're going to meet that person that really captivates you, and it just requires you branching off just a little bit more, waiting for things just a little bit more. Okay, so best of luck here, Taurus, and I wish you the best. I'll be back for the mid-month reading to flush out some of this energies for you guys. Okay, so yeah, I'll be back then. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, please visit my website where you can book an appointment for yourself, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.